Now, we have reports that paramilitary groups are patrolling Caracas with motorbikes and assault rifles. Is that true? What can you tell us?
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. We have seen that since yesterday in different parts of the city. There have been reports even by local journalists who have the chance to photograph these groups. They have been detaining some cars and asking for documents, maybe asking to check on the phones of the people to see if they are sharing information about the capture of Nicolas Maduro, or even celebrating what happened last Saturday, because there is right now a state of external commotion in Venezuela, ordered by the government, and one of the elements of that is the capturing of people who gets in line with Venezuela, with the United States operation. We saw today the arrest of 2 people in the Andean region of Venezuela by the National Bolivarian Police, accused them of being celebrating the actions of the U.S. on Venezuelan soil.
Victor, journalists detained as well. So the report is 14 journalists and media employees, that included 13 members of international media, detained in Caracas, all but one later released. What do you understand the reasoning behind that was?
And one of those who were released was also deported at the same time because it was a foreigner. Almost all of the journalists that were detained yesterday worked for international media, and there is approximately 120 international journalists right outside in the Colombian side of the border near Cucuta, also waiting for the permit to go inside Venezuela. I think the Venezuelan government, not so different to what was happening with Maduro when Maduro was still in power. They don't want too many eyes inside the country, so they haven't issued visas for journalists since, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 years. But of course now the situation gets more complicated, and the requests from international media to come to Venezuela and report what is happening here gets has this push. It's not that different that was happened before, but for the first time we saw a crackdown for 14 journalists and colleague workers on one day, and in the same place, half of them were detained near the place when where Delcy Rodriguez was being invested as interim president of the country.
You're a local journalist. Are you worried at all?
All the time, every day.
And opposition leader Maria Corina Machado is set to arrive back in Venezuela. She says she's going to do that as soon as possible. What will that mean, and do you think that will be a significant shift when she arrives back there?
Well, I'm sure we're going to hear more about Maria Corina in the coming days. She's going to start apparently tomorrow to have some interviews with Spanish-speaking outlets and even Venezuelan media, some independent outlets in Venezuela. So we'll see what she's going to say about those plans. For now, she's making still a pledge to Donald Trump about facilitating a full transition, a democratic transition in Venezuela. She also said that she haven't spoke with Trump since October last year. So that has had an impact inside the Venezuelan. The discussion of the people is that, well, maybe Maria Corina is not that influential on the Trump government. Maybe Maria Corina is yesterday news, and we have to deal with what is presented today as a reality. But at the same time, there is also voices, mainly in the European Union and in other countries, saying, well, but if you're going to push for a transition in Venezuela, you're not going to get that with the remaining government of Nicolas Maduro still in power, but trying to facilitate new elections or a scenario of actual political transition.